Alright, let's try this again. That glare was too much. I'm going to try for a twofer today just because it's slow at work and there's not much going on. I'm going to talk about the character of Antichrist. We just talked about his origin, paternal, maternal, so on. I'd like to talk about his character now. All of these that I'm reading are coming off of icthys.com, icthys.com. It's ran by Dr. Robert Luginbill. He is the head of the classics department at the University of Louisville in Kentucky. He's been running this website for, I think, 25 years or something like that, but very well versed in ancient Greek, Koine Greek, and Aramaic, Hebrew, and the guy's amazing. He really is a super blessed guy. He's somebody who's been paying attention for a long time. And his stream of reasoning, it's not his. I don't actually see it as his. I just see him as one of the vanguards that just decided to always be questioning whether or not he was actually correct. And that's the wise thing, by the way. No believer should assume 100% that they're completely correct about anything until they have absolutely exhausted the knock, seek, and ask that we're supposed to approach the Word with. This is something a lot of Christians are not 100% on top of. So anyhow, I'm going to read this. This is Daniel 8:23. At the end of their kingdom, during the tribulation, when rebels are being confirmed in their apostasy, there will arise a stern-faced king, Antichrist, well-versed in deception, and he will become exceptionally powerful, but not through his own power. And he will be astoundingly successful in his corrupting activities. And he will even undertake to corrupt the mighty men, the believers, and a part of the holy people, Israel. And on account of his cunning, his conspiracy will prosper under his direction, and he will greatly magnify himself in his own thinking. And by his seductive ways he will corrupt many. He will even take his stand against the Prince of Princes, the Lord, and will be shattered apart from human agency. So 8:23 comes along after Daniel gives this description of the four beasts. He finalized basically with the crazy vision of a gigantic Rome that devours everything previously before it, and then it goes right into at the end of their kingdom meaning the beasts in the vision that he was seeing. So it's very directly pointing to the end time. So I'm just going to read these notes that he put underneath. And again, this comes directly from his Coming Tribulation series, specifically I believe it's part 3b, having to do with Antichrist, and this is specifically the subheading character. So, at the end of their kingdom. In addition to the context here, which prima facie describes Antichrist, there are numerous indications in the context that these verses are meant primarily as a prophecy about the beast. After receiving a heavenly command to explain this prophecy to Daniel, Gabriel, at Daniel 8:17, proclaims that this vision relates to the time of the end. And this is a clear reference to the tribulation. See Daniel 12:4, where the same Hebrew phrase is used, pointing to the same usage. This point is repeated with even more emphasis 2 verses later at Daniel 8:19, where Gabriel attributes the vision to the latter time of God's wrath, the tribulation, Revelation 15:1, and says, "For this will happen at the appointed time of the end," i.e. the tribulation. Finally, at the conclusion of the angelic visit, Daniel is told to seal up the vision because it pertains to many days hence, distant future. That's Daniel 8:26. That's kind of straightforward. I'll read the next. When rebels are confirmed in their apostasy. As explained in the previous installment of this series, this is a reference to the great apostasy. So if you've read this before, this makes sense. There's only really one great falling away, so it would make sense. At an event which will reach its peak during the first half of the tribulation. Then there will arise a stern-faced king. This refers to the revelation at the start of the Great Tribulation of Antichrist, for whom we have seen above Antiochus Epiphanes, the more contemporary type in the broad context here in Daniel, is the antitype, which we'll get into the antitypes and types of Antichrist, so you can see how the Bible's been describing the likeness and the character and the actions of the Antichrist through the actions of others. From Satan himself, you've Janus and Jambres, Nimrod, of course, Antiochus, all the different characters, King of Babylon, they're all very much types of the Antichrist because they all share some of his exceedingly arrogant behavior. Let's see. Well versed in deception. The beast will be a consummate actor and practiced conspirator, super liar, in other words. The Hebrew phrase, I'm gonna totally butcher this, Mebien chidoth literally means understanding riddles. Probably said that wrong. Captures at once his satanically empowered evil intelligence and the exceptionally deceptive uses to which he will apply it. Also see Daniel 11:27. That's also pretty straightforward. He will become exceptionally powerful, but not through his own power. Not only is Antichrist sired by the devil, but he will be empowered in all of his undertakings. I'm going to note right here that there are a lot of folks out there that for whatever reason can't let go of the idea that Satan is Antichrist, but although perhaps during the Great Tribulation, the second half, Antichrist may very well be dwelled by Satan. In other words, Satan might be, housed in his body, which could totally explain his resurrection. That does not take away from the fact that the Antichrist and the false prophet are thrown into the lake of fire before anyone else. They are literally the first inhabitants of the lake of fire that was set forth in Daniel. So for Satan and Antichrist to be one, literally one, they would both have to be thrown into hell at the same time, and that just doesn't make sense because Satan is right after the Antichrist is thrown into the fire, imprisoned for 1,000 years, and then released to fool everybody again for one last round of thinning the herd, people that never would have followed the Lord anyway. So to that point, I'm sorry if you think that. They are completely separate. They are not one the way that the Father and the Lord are. They are God. They, Antichrist and Satan, they are not Satan. They are opposition. Together they are Satan, but they are not one. Just so we're clear. He will be astoundingly successful in his corrupting activities. The beast's success in deceiving and enlisting both unbelievers and apostate believers to his cause will proceed apace throughout the tribulation's first half, breaking into a worldwide flood as Antichrist is fully revealed at the start of the 3.5-year Great Tribulation. Revelation 3:18, 1-8. He will even undertake to corrupt the mighty men and a part of the holy people. This is a specific reference to and overview of the great apostasy. The mighty men are our Lord's heroes, that is, anyone who is or was fighting and winning the good fight of faith until overcome by Antichrist and his nonsense. See, for example, 1 Timothy 6:12, the ultimate rewarding of believers called mighty men, in Isaiah 53:12. Holy people refers, check those out, holy people refers specifically here to those among Israel who likewise are swept away in the great apostasy. Sad. On account of his cunning, his conspiracy will prosper under his direction. Here we see the beast's animal-like craftiness facilitating the treachery he sponsors in order to come to power. See Daniel 11:23, where Mirma has the same meaning of conspiracy. He will greatly magnify himself in his own thinking. The arrogance of Antichrist will outstrip the bounds of normal human restraint. Think Pharaoh, right? Pharaoh basically had to stop and consider Yahweh, and then because he wanted to go against him, God's like, well, you're not going to win, and this is crazy, but I'm going to allow it because this is what you actually want, and it will show my power. Same idea with Antichrist. The Pharaoh was definitely a type of Antichrist. By his seductive ways, he will corrupt many. The beast's political-religious movement in particular will offer potential followers a seductively easy road to all their dreams and aspirations, undermining whatever conscience and mores they possess. That's pretty straightforward, too. The religion is going to be a worldwide party. It'll come across as pseudo-moral, because I honestly think with the way that the world is being proffered to us right now, that it's falling apart morally with the trans nonsense. I think all he's got to do is turn the dial down just a little bit and speak maybe from a point of quasi, modern reasoning. In other words, gay's okay as long as they're not, giving it to us and putting it on the typical 15 years ago gay is okay thing that the quote-unquote Christian right is totally okay with. Nonsense, people. He will even take a stand against the Prince of Princes and will be shattered apart from human agency. In his arrogance, Antichrist will even think himself capable of opposing Christ at Armageddon. But just as the beast is only able to accomplish what he does through the power of the devil, so in the end he will be destroyed by the power of God. Let's not fool ourselves in thinking that the Antichrist and the devil are somehow buddy-buddy. They are not. Satan gives no thin squirt. I'm sorry for the verbiage there, but he doesn't care. One tiny little sliver for any one of us. That includes his own son. The devil is not here to actually enact any of his promises. He is only here in the attempt to confound God's plan. His whole goal and assumption is that if he can screw things up enough and stop the amount of believers that are set to replace him and his devils from actually reaching full maturity, full peak, right before he returns, that God will have no choice but to basically just allow everyone to go on the way that they are forever, no matter what, because he has to walk away with his hands clean out of his mercy. So the devil is banking one side of God's character against the other, and it's a bad scenario. That's why Christ had to come, so God could justifiably judge all the evil and justifiably save all those that wanted to be saved. So the Antichrist is very much a pawn of Satan. He just doesn't know it yet, but he's going to have all of Satan's character and inherited habits and behavioral tendencies. Daniel 8:23 is one of the many places, 23 through 25, that describes his character. It just happens to put him in the most condensed form. There's other stuff. Look at Daniel 11. Of course, look at 1 Thessalonians, the mystery of lawlessness, the man of lawlessness. It's all one person. It's all one super king that will come in the end and absolutely be smashed by the sword coming out of the Lord's mouth off that white horse. Can't wait to see it. Anyway, we're going to talk about his rise next, how he comes to power, the conspiracies and whatnot that are behind it. The stuff the Bible talks about. Obviously, there's some ambiguity there because they couldn't see what was going to happen in the ancient world, and technically, we don't even know now. I can opine and I can suggest who might be who and so on, and I have my ideas. Won't lie. But this isn't about conspiracy. This is just about Bible fact and the things we're supposed to know ahead of time. So I hope you guys are getting ready. Again, check out icthys.com, icthys.com. Multiple studies, all very well worth your time, all very, very good for spiritual growth. I am praying for everybody. I'm hoping everybody's keeping their eyes open and not becoming too political, but I'm sure those who are watching this know what I'm talking about. Things aren't looking good, but this is the way they're supposed to look. So, come Lord, judge this place, please. It'll be awesome. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Keep praying, keep studying, and we'll talk to you soon.